Bonnie. All right, so everybody just got their breakfast. Now they're going to start heading out to their pasture that they go to each day. So I thought I'd talk actually a little bit this morning about the financials of raising sheep. And, I've told lots of people that sheep are probably, especially these Katahdins, are one of the easy sheep to raise. I mean, they really, honestly, well, looks like I'm going to have some connectivity issues today, so hopefully that we're back. But, so in terms of cost, the Katahdins are really very inexpensive. They really can exist really just on grass and water. You have to give them what's called a CDT vaccine once a year, which is like, I don't know, 50 cents or something. It's really not very much at all. So a very inexpensive animal to maintain for the most part until you get into breeding. And then when you're breeding them, nutrition becomes much, much more important. I'm actually going to show you Polly over here. Poor Polly is 3 fairly substantially sized twins, or triplets, I'm sorry, and birthed quads. And, her, honestly, I mean, I'm trying to keep some weight on her, but she's a little thin. I mean, even despite my best efforts, because that's a lot of nutrition coming out of them. Those babies are probably gaining a half pound to a pound a day sometimes, and and there's 3 of them. So that's a lot of milk she's producing every day, and that's a lot of energy. So it's really important that I keep the nutrition up for these animals before they have their babies and after they have their babies. This is Polly right here. And you can see she's a little thin. And I don't like what she looks like, but we're working on it. And they are at peak milk production right now. So they're going to start eating soon. They are actually eating some now, but they're going to start kind of transitioning where they're going to eat more food than they do milk. And so she'll start gaining some weight then. But it's just pretty much impossible to keep that much nutrition inside of her. She'd be eating, I don't know that she can even eat that much to keep that much nutrition going through her. So some of the cost involved of breeding has to do with growing grass. I think Greg Judy's one of the farmers that a lot of people watch. And one of the things he says is if you're a sheep farmer, you're a grass farmer. And, it's really important, I talk about, every 7 days with this temporary fencing. This temporary fencing costs money. I yesterday spent a good chunk of change fertilizing these fields so that they're going to have a good amount of grass throughout the season and even into the winter. I had the vaccines. I don't have to deworm very often because I do that pasture rotation. But, I do have the deworming cost. But most of my costs have to do with nutrition. How do I keep peak physical conditions so they can make these babies? Money on this. And I think probably I will this year. Not much, and certainly not taking into account all the hours of labor that I've put into it. So why do I do it? And it's mainly because I like it, right? That's it. I love doing this. But why do farmers do it? Why do farmers farm if there's not a lot of money in it? And it's a great question. Part of it is that they do love what they're doing, right? And they do make money, right? And especially if you get into higher numbers. I only have 10 ewes here. If I had 100 ewes, I probably could make a decent living at this. Not a great living. No farmer's going to get rich because there are a lot of what you call input costs into this. One of the things that we do as farmers is, you try to get better at this. And so one of the things that I'm doing as I'm growing this flock is trying to create animals that need less inputs, meaning less nutrition going into them, that they actually grow out faster off of less food, that they need less medical care. It's so funny. So that's the mom, that's Bonnie, calling to her babies. Her babies are over there, and they're calling, and they're going, "Hey, Mom!" And she goes, "Hey, I'm over here." And then they find her. So that's their little sound they make. And I love that sound. That's a sound they really only make for their babies. And they even do it actually when they're in labor, which I think is pretty cool. They, when they're in labor, they'll start kind of talking to their babies before they even come out of the womb. So it's one of the ways you know they're in labor. pretty cool. This is Greta and her two babies. That's April. There's Apple behind her. Which, by the way, I know you guys submitted a bunch of names, and I did name them. I think I have officially gone into the I can't remember who's who on these new babies. First time that's happened for me, so kind of an interesting dilemma that I'll have to try to. I've never had this many, so I'll have to get better at this, I guess. For the most part, I know who everybody is. I know who each one belongs to, but some of the new girls, I don't know all their names and which one's which. But maybe I'll figure that out. So, nice morning. You see, these are very contented, happy animals, which is another reason I do this, is that, I'm trying to raise humane meat, animals that live great lives. So, kind of a little mission. All right. Well, April says good morning, but we'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Make it a good one.